Hello everyone, hope everybody are fine. In today's video I want to discuss about mind maps of some chapters in 10th class mathematics which helps a lot while writing the exam because most of the students confuse to connect the question to the topic. This mind mapping helps which question from which chapter, which concept, which formula we have to use. So let us discuss about Chapter 1 Real Numbers. Here mainly we have two topics. One is prime factorization and other is proof of irrational numbers. In exercise 1.1 we have questions related to prime factorization. What are the different types of questions we have related to prime factorization? In this first you have to know about fundamental theorem of arithmetic. First one, fundamental theorem of arithmetic. This theorem says every composite number can be expressed as product of its prime factors. So if you express any number as product of prime factors, we can say it as a composite number. This is one of the important statement in chapter 1. After this we have topics like express given number as product of its prime factors, which is nothing but prime factorization. So you should know how to factorize numbers, prime factorization. After that, applications of prime factorization. In this, first we will be having LCM and HCF. LCM and HCF by prime factorization. Very important topic. After that, after we are finding LCM and HCF, we need to verify the relation between LCM and HCF and the two numbers, which is nothing but LCM of two numbers into HCF of same two numbers is equal to product of two numbers. LCM into HCF is equal to product of two numbers. So all these are related to prime factorization topic only. In this one more very important, that is applications on LCM and HCF. Application problems on LCM of two numbers and HCF of two numbers. Here we need to know in which case we find out LCM, in which case we find out HCF. Not only two numbers, generally LCM and HCF. Application problems based on LCM and HCF. These all are some important concepts, topics on prime factorization. Now let us see what kind of questions can be asked based on this prime factorization. First one, we have fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Like questions will be given like this: show 3 into 5 into 7 plus 3 into 11 is a composite number. So here we have to express it as a product of prime factors. Then from fundamental theorem of arithmetic we can say that it is a composite number. So it related to first question. And second, they may ask find LCM and HCF. Two numbers will be given. You have to find LCM and HCF of the two numbers. Generally, how we find LCM and HCF? Let us discuss one question. Suppose A is a number whose prime factorization is x power 2 into y power 5, and B is another number whose prime factorization is x power 3 y power 2 z. Then what is LCM of these two numbers? When we find out LCM of these two numbers, we list out all the prime factors in both the factorizations, that is x into y into z. Then we take their highest powers. X highest power is 3, y highest power is 5, Z highest power is 1. Similarly, HCF. Here we take only common factors that are present in both the factorizations. Common factors are only x and y. So x and y only we should take. Then their lowest powers. X lowest power is 2, y lowest power is 2. So like this we find out LCM and HCF of any two numbers by using prime factorization method. I gave one example. Generally numbers will be given. First we have to express those numbers in the form of product of prime factors, and then we have to follow this method. This is one important. After that, anyway, after we are getting LCM and HCF, we have to find out only LCM into HCF. We have to find out product of two numbers. Then we have to verify they both are same or not. Then application oriented problems. Different situations will be given. We need to understand according to the question in which case we have to find out LCM and in which case we have to find out HCF. This is about the first exercise. And in the second exercise, we'll be having proofs of irrational numbers. Based on this, not only proofs of irrational numbers, we should have idea about which are rational, which are irrational, which you learned in ninth class. In which case a number said to be rational, in which case it will be called as irrational. Then how to prove a number is irrational number? We follow contradiction method, and here we will be having different type of problems like prove that root 2 is irrational, root 3 is irrational, root 5, root p, where p is an irrational number. So this is one type of problems. After that, we will be having combination of a rational and irrational, like 2 plus root 3 or 5 plus 3 root 7 or 7 by 4 root 2. Like this, we will be having different combination of rationals and irrationals. Here also we follow uh, contradiction method, but here in the first case we follow squaring on both the sides. Then we will get 2 divides a square, 2 also divides a, 2 divides b square, 2 also divides b, 2 is a common factor. So like that at last we get contradiction. Then we say that given number that arises because of our wrong assumption, therefore the given number is irrational. In the second case, complete rational part we will keep one side, irrational part we will keep one side. At last we will get rational is equal to irrational. We say that that is contradiction that arises because of our wrong assumption. Sometimes we may get like this also, which is combination of two irrationals. Here also we have to do squaring on both the sides. Then after some steps we get rational and irrational part. Then we follow second method way. 3 root 3 plus 5 root 7. So like these combinations will be given. So mainly in first chapter we have to focus on prime factorization and how to prove given number as irrational number. One is LCM and HCF concept, and other is proofs of irrational numbers. In these two, if you are being perfect, chapter 1 will be okay, easy. Now let us see the chapter 2, next chapter. In next chapter we have polynomials. In polynomials, one second. Yes, in polynomials topic we'll be having some more number of concepts. Exercises are only two, but here basics. First topic, basics means what? In ninth class also we have polynomials. There we will learn about what is a polynomial definition. When we say that an expression is a polynomial, and the second one, what is degree of a polynomial, you have to know. How to decide what is the degree of a polynomial. Based on degree, what are the types of polynomials, like quadratic, linear, cubic, constant, zero polynomial, linear polynomial, all these polynomials. Types of polynomials. We have to know what is zero of a polynomial. All these you learned in ninth class. Remainder theorem. What is remainder theorem? If p of x is divided by x minus a, then remainder is P of A. Remainder theorem. Factor theorem. What is factor theorem? If x minus A is factor, if x minus A is factor of P of x, then P of A is equal to 0. This is factor theorem. All these are the concepts from ninth class. Then next important topic, graphical representation. Here I will represent some graphs to understand better way. So you will be given different types of graphs. We have to identify the number of zeros, sometimes types of polynomials. So like this we will be having. So here in the first case, because it is a straight line, we can say that it is a linear polynomial. And sometimes they ask you to identify the number of zeros. How do we identify number of zeros? How many places that curve or line intersect the x-axis? Based on that we decide. For example, first one, it is intersecting x-axis at one point. We should not see the y-axis. Where it is intersecting x-axis, we have to observe. First one, it is intersecting x-axis at one point, so the number of zeros is 1. So sometimes we'll be having a graph like this, parabolic shape. It is a graphical representation of quadratic polynomial. So here also different ways we will be having. For example, like this, here because it is intersecting x-axis at 2 points, we say that number of zeros are 2. Sometimes we may have graph like this also. Here also number of zeros are 2, but the difference is whenever it is opens upwards, parabola opens upwards, you have to remember coefficient of x square a is greater than 0, and in this case, in the second case, coefficient of x square is a is less than 0. So this we have to remember. And sometimes like this they ask how many number of zeros are there for a polynomial. Depends on how many places it is intersecting x-axis. For example, in this case, it is intersecting x-axis at 3 places. So the number of zeros will be 3. So depends on graph. By observing graph, we have to decide the zeros. Sometimes by observing graph, we have to find out the polynomial also. So this is about graphical representation. After that, we have zeros of a polynomial. How do we find the zeros of a polynomial? This is there in ninth class also. Here one method is, here we follow factorization method by splitting the middle term. By factorization we find the zeros. We have to find out the zeros of the polynomial. Now here next important concept is we have to find out the relation between zeros and coefficients. We have to verify the relation between zeros and coefficients after we are finding the zeros. So what? One relation is alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a, and one more relation alpha into beta is equal to c by a. This is about relation between zeros and coefficients of quadratic polynomial. Next, cubic polynomial also they may ask, that is alpha plus beta plus gamma is equal to minus b by a, alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha is equal to c by a, alpha beta gamma is equal to minus d by a. So these are the relations between zeros and cubic polynomial. Relation between zeros and quadratic, zeros and coefficients of quadratic polynomial are only two. These are quadratic. These three are cubic polynomial relations. Now next we have, once after verification of relation between zeros and coefficients, we have how to find a polynomial when zeros are given. Zeros will be given, we have to find the polynomial. We have a formula to find quadratic polynomial, that is k into x square minus sum of zeros into x plus product of zeros. This is the formula for quadratic polynomial. And for cubic polynomial, k into x cube minus alpha plus beta plus gamma into x x square plus alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha into x minus alpha beta gamma. This is the formula to find a cubic polynomial. So here this is about quadratic polynomial and cubic polynomial. Now next we have uh, problems on sum. This is not I, this is and sum and product of zero, sum and product of zeros of a polynomial. Okay, there is a printing mistake. Okay, now what kind of problems will be there based on sum and product? On quadratic polynomial, they may ask you to find what is sum of zeros. Polynomial will be given, you have to find sum of zeros, product of zeros, sometimes 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta, where alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial. They may ask you alpha square plus beta square, alpha by beta plus beta by alpha. Like these different questions based on relation between zeros and coefficients. So these type of questions may be given based on problems on sum and product of zeros. Sometimes they ask you to find out another polynomial whose zeros are two times the zeros of the given polynomial. So different questions can be given based on this. I made one more video based on this type of questions. You can check it so that you will understand. See, even on cubic polynomial also, cubic polynomial relation also, they may ask you alpha plus beta plus gamma to find alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha, alpha beta gamma. To find out this type of things, they may ask you to find out. Hope polynomials also it is completed. Main important concepts I covered. It will help you. What are important formulae are there, how to remember them. Now let us see third chapter, that is pair of linear equations in two variables. Oh, 1 second. Right now let us discuss about pair of linear equations in two variables. In this uh, we will be having first concept, what is the standard form of a linear equation in two variables, that is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0 and b is not equal to 0. Here a square plus b square is not equal to 0. Here comparing coefficients means what, we will decide what kind of lines they represent. Generally the graphical representation of a linear equation in two variables is a straight line. Because it is pair of linear equations, we will be having two equations, a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0, a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0, 1, and a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0 is second. Now here by comparing the ratios a1 by a2, b1 by b2 and c1 by c2, we decide which type of lines they represent. If a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, they represent intersecting lines. Which type of lines? Intersecting lines. There will be unique solution in this case, one common solution, and we call it as consistent system. Consistent system. So these three we have to remember. Similarly, if a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, but it is not equal to c1 by c2. In this case, they represent parallel lines. They represent parallel lines. They will be having no solution in this case, and system is inconsistent. Inconsistent. Next condition, a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2. All the three ratios will be same. In this case, we call them coincident lines. Coincident lines means what? One on other. One on other. In this case, they will be having infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. So here if you see lines will be there like this intersecting. Here lines will be there like this parallel. Here lines will be there like this coincident one on another. So this is about the first topic, very important topic. In every exam, one question is will come based on this, either objective or 2 marks. Sometimes long answer type also. Then next we will be having to find out the solution of the given two equations by different methods. In that one very important topic is graphical method. Graphical method, we have to draw the graph of the given two equations. Generally, I prefer to draw the graph of line by taking like this one time x value, one time y value. You have to find out the values of x and y for two equations. You take the x value 0 and find out y to get easily, then take the y value 0, find out x, so that we get very simple manner, we get the x and y values. Then you can locate them in the graph, join them and decide are they parallel or intersecting or coincident. If they are intersecting, we can find out where they are intersecting and we can find out common solution also. I made one more video on how to draw the graph also, you can check it to understand better. Next important topic is elimination method. Next important topic, elimination method. Here we make coefficients equal, either x coefficients equal or y coefficients equal, and then we solve the given two equations. This is also important. And then we have substitution method. In this what we do, either we find out the value of x or we find out the value of y from the first equation, and that x or y value we will substitute in the second equation so that we get x and y. That solution of the given two equations can be found by using substitution method. Maybe hope all these methods you know. All these three methods are important. You have to know how to find out solution by using these methods. Now we have next word problem, very important. You should know how to frame the equation for given situation. Here especially many different topics we have, but in that one of the important topic, age related. So they ask you to find out uh, present ages of the people. So here generally I say to take first what are the present ages, past ages, then later or future, in future. So here generally how they say present ages we have to take x and y, then past means what, we have to subtract that is, for example of 5 years ago x minus 5, y minus 5. Then future or later means whenever they say later, x plus 5, y plus 5, they say some condition, that condition should be applied here so that we get equation, two equations, and then we have to solve them. Then we have two digit number related. Whenever two digit number related comes, there also you follow one table like this to understand better, that is tens place and ones place, because it is two digit number. When we take tens place x, ones place y, the number will be 10x plus y. They say that number obtained by reversing the digits. We need to know number obtained by reversing the digits also. So we have to take y in tens place, x in ones place, then the number will become 10y plus x. After you are writing like this, again we have to read the question. According to the question, we have to frame the linear equation in two variables. First of all, we have to know how to get it, these conditions, how to get it. Next we have geometry figure related. Then here we have to see, is it related to triangle or rectangle or square. They say that area of a rectangle is increased when length is decreased, breadth is increased. Area of a rectangle is decreased when length is decreased, breadth is increased. So this type of questions. Angles of a cyclic quadrilateral, angles of a triangle, ratio of angles will be given, we have to find out. So in different, based on different kinds of geometrical figures, they give linear equation in two variables related problems. You should have idea about the geometrical figure also. Next we have very important concept related to speed, distance, time. Very important formula here, time is equal to distance by speed, because generally they give relation between speed, distance, time. So sum of times, sometimes it will be given, difference of times it will be given. So in first case what is the time, in second case what is the time. If sum of times is given, we have to add them. If difference of times is given, we have to subtract them, then we get the correct equation, we can solve it. Next, cost of articles, like cost of 3 articles, 3 pens and 5 pencils is some number, and cost of 5 pencils, 3 pens is something. Then they ask you to find cost of each pen and each pencil. Like this, different cases we have. So in all these cases, in all those cases, you need to know how to frame equation and solve. That's it. In pair of linear equations, first topic we have to know comparing quantities, and then these three methods, how to solve equations. In word problems, in which case what method we have to follow to frame the equation. If you know this, pair of linear equations is done. Hope it is okay. Now going to next topic, that is quadratic equations. In quadratic equations, first topic we have to decide whether given equation is quadratic equation or not. Generally, after simplification of the given algebraic equation, you have to check whether x square term is there or not. If x square term is there, we can say it is a quadratic equation. Otherwise, it is not quadratic equation. Sometimes x square term will be there, along with that cubic term, biquadratic term will be there. So their degree must be only 2, or that given equation should be there only in this format: ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. If that is there in this format, we can say that it is a quadratic equation, otherwise no. And the next topic we have to find the roots by factorization method. Already this we do in quadratic polynomials chapter. Now same thing we have to follow here also, factorization method, splitting the middle term. Next we have same finding the roots by quadratic formula. What is quadratic formula? X is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. By using this formula, you can find out roots of any type of quadratic equation. Sometimes factorization method is not possible. Whenever factorization method is not possible, you can follow formula method to find out the roots of the quadratic equation. If they mention specifically find the roots by factorization method, then you follow only factorization method or formula method. If they mention formula method, if they do not mention, whatever method you feel easy according to the question, you can follow that method. But next important topic is what? Discriminant. What is discriminant? In this formula, if you see, there is b square minus 4ac present under root. So based on the value of b square minus 4ac, the roots of the quadratic equation will be depending. So what? We have to find out how b square minus 4ac is there. So b square minus 4ac, if it is greater than 0, if it is positive, we will be having two distinct real roots. Next, b square minus 4ac, if it is equal to 0, we will be having two real, not two real and equal roots. We will be having real and equal roots. Two roots will be there, but two roots are equal. Next, in the next case, b square minus 4ac is less than 0. In this case, what happens? If it is less than 0, it will be negative. B square minus 4ac will be negative. If that negative value is present under root, it will become a imaginary number. So roots are not real in this case. No real roots. No real roots. Very important topic. Based on this, every time questions will be there, either objective or 2 marks or sometimes long answer type also. So we need to be, you have to thorough with this, when roots are real and distinct, when roots are real and equal, when no real roots are present. Okay, this is about discriminant. Sometimes they say that real and equal, roots are real and equal, we have to find out some unknown value k or some other value alpha, something, it will be given unknown value in the equation, and they mention roots are real and equal or distinct roots. In that case, you have to take this condition and substitute ABC values in the b square minus 4ac and find the unknown value. This is one important. After that, word problems. What all we have seen word problems in linear equation in two variables will be there in quadratic equations also. Here we will be having some numbers, sum of numbers, product of numbers related. Numbers related one. Next, here also age related, very important. Here also you will be having sometimes age related problems. Same like that only here also past, present, future we have to take. Then here also we will be having geometry related, geometrical figure related. Then here also we will be having two-digit number related. Same methods whatever we follow there, here also we have to follow. But here after in that process of writing equation, we will be having quadratic equation. There we will be having linear equation in two variables, two-digit number related. Then what more? Geometry related over cost of articles related. Cost of articles, very important, very important. Here speed, distance, time related. Speed, distance, especially train. Speed of the train is increased, then time is decreased. Find the average speed of the train. Next, motor boat related. This is also speed, distance. Motor boat related also. Motorboat to train, both are related to speed, distance only. So again, no need to write this one more time. And here one more important, work and time related. Like two taps together, they fill up a tank. Work and time related. In the previous also, work and time related will be there. I forgot to write that. Work with time related. In pair of linear equations also, work and time related problems will be there. All these are very important. We should know in which case how to write the equation. Here also you'll be having sum and product of roots, like same whatever we followed in quadratic polynomial. Here also same concept we have to follow. Quadratic equation or quadratic polynomials, we have to follow the same method. This is about quadratic equations. In this, very important concepts are finding the zeros by formula or factorization method, then discriminant, then word problems. If these three you are perfect, quadratic equations is done. Next topic we have arithmetic progressions. What is arithmetic progression? It is a list of numbers in which every two consecutive terms have the same difference. Difference of every two consecutive terms is same. We call it as arithmetic progression. In this first topic is to check whether given list of numbers form an arithmetic progression or not. How do we check given list of numbers form an arithmetic progression or not? Before that, what is the general form of an arithmetic progression? A plus D, A plus 2D, so on, A plus n minus 1 into D. Here D will be called as common difference and A will be called as first term. After that, to check whether it forms an arithmetic progression or not, A2 minus A1 is equal to A3 minus A2 or not. Difference of consecutive terms is same or not, we have to check. If difference of consecutive terms is same, then we can say that it forms an arithmetic progression. Common difference, generally we find out A2 minus A1. This is about basic concepts about the arithmetic progression which are there in first exercise. Next we have nth term of AP. What is nth term of AP? Last term or nth term is same, that is nothing but A plus n minus 1 into D. N is equal to A plus n minus 1 into D, one of the very important topic in arithmetic progressions. Here they ask you sometimes find the 10th term, or sometimes which term of the progression is 250 or 250 belonging to the progression or not. Find the 10th term from the end of the progression. In all these cases we find out the same, like how many two-digit numbers are divisible by 3. All these cases we follow an is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. One of the very important concept in arithmetic progressions. After this we have sum of n terms. Sum of n terms we have two formulae. One is Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. When common difference is given, we have to follow this formula. And one more, Sn is equal to n by 2 into a plus n. Whenever last term and first term are given, we'll be having this formula. And apart from this, sometimes they ask you sum of three numbers will be given and one more condition will be given. Whenever sum of three numbers and product of three numbers, sum of three numbers and product of three numbers is given, we have to take the terms as a minus d, a plus d, which gives solution very easily. If you take like this three terms, minus d plus d will be cancelled, we get directly a, then we can find out d, then whatever they are asking we can find out easily. If they give 4 terms, we have to take like this: a minus 2d, comma a minus d, comma a plus d, comma a plus d, a plus 2d, 4 terms. If they give 5 terms, a minus 2d, a minus d, a plus d, a plus 2d, 5 terms. So in this way, term should be taken whenever sum of 2 terms, sum of 3 terms, sum of 5 terms, sum of 4 terms is given, so that we get solution very easily. So these are, sometimes they give 2 terms, seventh term, fifth term, we have to find out arithmetic progression. We have to follow elimination method. We get from seventh term one equation, fifth term one equation, then solve them. We get E and D. Then whatever they are asking, we can find out. After these two are very important. Connecting an and Sn, we have one more important formula, that is an is equal to Sn minus Sn minus 1. This is also we have to know. Sometimes an will be given like an is equal to 2n plus 3, then find the common difference. So whenever an is given in terms of n, if you substitute n in the place of 1 in the place of n, we get a1. If you substitute 2 in the place of n, we get a2. Like this, when you are substituting the values of n as 1, 2, 3, we get a1, a2, a3. Then you can find out common difference or whatever they are asking. After this, we have Sn also, sometimes like this it will be given. Here also same method we have to follow. Here also n value we have to substitute, we get S1. If you substitute 2, we get S2. Then after that, S2 minus S1, we get A1. So A2. So like this we can find out A2, A3, A1, D, A. After that we can find out whatever they are asking to find. After that, very important, every time case study question they are giving based on arithmetic progression. So you have to know some situation will be given. In that situation, we need to know when you have to find out an formula, when you have to find out Sn formula. Whenever they ask you total or sum of the terms, you have to remember we have to use Sn formula. We have to find sum of n terms. Whenever they ask you last term or last row or in particular term, only that particular term, then we have to use an formula. You have to be very careful. Most of the students, because they confuse in selecting the formula an, Sn, they do mistakes. So after you are listening this, maybe you will be careful while writing the solution. This is about arithmetic progressions. Now next topic is triangles. In triangles, we have one basic proportionality theorem. According to this theorem, what is the statement of basic proportionality theorem? In any triangle, if one line is parallel to, if a line is drawn parallel to one side, then what happens? That line divides other two sides in the same ratio. Then what happens? AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. It is a very important topic in triangles. Will be given figure like this. ABC triangle will be given, and they say that D is parallel to BC. Then we can use this formula AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. Proof we have to know, as well as all the application oriented problems related to basic proportionality we have to know. Whenever a figure is given, immediately you need to know whether it is related to basic proportionality theorem related or similarity criterions related. Here we have two: basic proportionality, one more converse of basic proportionality. What is converse of basic proportionality? It is opposite statement. Here what happens? If in triangle ABC, DE divides AB and AC such that AD by DB is equal to AE by EC, then what happens? Then the line will be parallel to third side. So here it is opposite. If line is parallel, it divides other two sides in the same ratio. If two sides are in the same ratio, then line will be parallel. Very important. Then after this, we have similarity criterions. One is SSS. According to this, if we have two triangles, one is ABC and other is PQR, ABC, PQR. Then based on SSS similarity criterion, how do we decide they are similar? If AB by PQ is equal to BC by QR is equal to AC by PR. If all the three ratios are same, then we say that they are similar by SSS. Sometimes two sides ratios only they will be same. AB by PQ is equal to BC by QR. We don't know about other ratio, but we know that angle B is equal to angle Q. Means what? Two sides are equal, ratios are same, and their included angles. It is very important point. Compulsory, which two ratios you know, the angles equal should be between those two sides. This is one, and other one. Three angles of one triangle should be equal to three angles of other triangle. Angle A is equal to angle P, angle B is equal to angle Q, angle C is equal to angle R. Sometimes by angle sum property, no need to know third angle. If you know only two angles equal, then also any two angles, we can say they are similar. This is what SAS similarity criterion. This is what AAA similarity criterion. This is what AA similarity criterion. So you will be given figures or sometimes information. By using information or figures, we have to decide under which criterion they are similar. After you are proving similar, you have to take ratio of corresponding sides the same. Then we have to find out what it is there in the question. And based on not only this, later you have to know how to use this concept in some situations, application problems on triangles. 5 marks question especially on long answer type, either 5 marks or case study question, there will be a possibility to come from applications of application problems on based on triangles. Here especially you should be very good, very thorough on what is basic proportionality theorem and what are the similarity criterions, how to use them. That's it. Next topic we have coordinate geometry. Half of the topics we will discuss now. In next video, remaining half topics we will discuss. Coordinate geometry, already you have 9th class. How to locate the points in the graph you have to know. But here in 10th class we will discuss especially about how to find the distance between 2 points. We will be given 2 points AX1, Y1, another point BX2, Y2, and we have to find out the distance between 2 points. Then distance between 2 points formula is root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. But based on this distance formula, what are the different kinds of problems we have? We have to show given points collinear or not. One, how do we decide? If 3 points are given, then AB plus BC is equal to AC, or sum of any two distances is equal to third distance, we say that they are collinear. Otherwise, they are not collinear. Next one, you have to show it is an equilateral triangle. If it forms an equilateral triangle, what you have to know? If it forms equilateral triangle, all the three sides of the triangle must be same. If you want to prove given 4 points form a square, what we need to prove? If it is a square, AB, all four sides are equal, AB is equal to BC is equal to CA is equal, not CA, CA is diagonal. AB is equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to DA, and AC is equal to BD. Diagonals also equal. For rhombus, diagonals are not required. Only four sides are equal. If it is rhombus, only four sides are equal. If it is square, even diagonals. Then rectangle. For rectangle, we have to prove only opposite sides are equal. AB is equal to CD. Even I wrote CD, and AD is equal to BC. Then diagonals are also equal. Here one similarity is there between rhombus and parallelogram. In rhombus, diagonals are not equal. Even in parallelogram also, you need to prove diagonals are equal. Only if you prove opposite sides are equal, it will be parallelogram. If you prove all sides are equal, it is rhombus. So this is about some problems based on distance formula. Not only this, sometimes they ask you find a point on x-axis which is equidistant from some other points. You have to take AP is equal to PB. Because it is on x-axis, P will be there in the form of x comma 0. Then AP is equal to PB, do squaring on both the sides, then we get the value of x. Okay, like this, different problems are based on distance formula, very important concept in coordinate geometry. Then we have section formula. What section formula when we use? There will be a line segment joining 2 points AB, and in between one more point P which divides AB internally. Here A is x1, y1, B is x2, y2, B is x2, y2. Here P is some x comma y. Then Px comma y is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2, m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. Very important formula. This is called section formula. Whenever we want to find a point which is dividing line segment joining x1 y1 and x2 y2 internally in the ratio m1 m2, in the ratio m1 m2 we use this formula. Sometimes they ask you to find out ratio. Point px comma y will be given. We have to find out ratio. In that case we will take ratio as k is to 1 to make it easy. Then we equate that point, whatever we get x value, we will equate to here x value. This x value will be equated to this x value, then we get the value of k. Sometimes they ask you to find out the ratio in which y-axis divides. You can remember this as a formula. Whenever y-axis divides, x will be 0. In this case, m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2 should be equated to 0. This one when we have to use? Whenever y-axis divides the line segment. Similarly, they ask you in which ratio x-axis divides. In that case, what? 0 is equal to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2, because whenever it is x-axis, whenever x-axis divides, y value will be 0. On x-axis, y value is 0, so it should be equated to y coordinate should be equated to 0. From this we get the value of ratio. So here in short form, if it is objective, you can remember m1 by m2 is equal to minus x1 by x2. Similarly, this is what for y-axis. Similarly, here m1 by m2 is equal to minus y1 by y2. So this formula we can use to find out ratio, how y-axis divides, how x-axis divides. About section formula. One more important concept here, points of trisection. What is points of trisection? Whenever points of trisection comes, a line segment will be divided into three equal parts. So here, three equal parts. So when you want to find out P, ratio will not be given in this case. When you want to find out P, ratio should be taken 1 is to 2, because here that side after P we have PB is 2 parts, AP is 1 part. Then when you want to find out Q, now this is 2, this is 1. So in the second case we have to take 2 is to 1, 1 is to 2, 2 is to 1. So 4 equal parts. When it is 4 equal parts, it will be divided into 4 parts, 3 points will be there. In that case we have to take 3 is to 1, 2 is to 2, 1 is to 3. Same concept. Then next important formula, midpoint formula. Based on midpoint formula, we will be having questions like 3 points of parallelogram will be given. We have to find out fourth point. In this case, what? Diagonals bisect each other. Midpoint of AC is equal to midpoint of BD. Midpoint of AC is equal to midpoint of. This concept should be used whenever they ask you to find fourth vertex of a parallelogram, or fourth vertex of a square, fourth vertex of a rectangle, fourth vertex of rhombus, because all these are parallelograms. Similarly, when they ask you to find center of the circle, two ends of the diameter will be given, center of the circle, or one end of the diameter, center will be given. We have to find out another. Wherever all the 3 points are collinear and the point is equidistant, like this, then we have to use midpoint formula. So these are very important concepts in coordinate geometry, especially distance formula and section formula. Based on this, compulsory there will be a case study question even in final board exam. So you should know how application oriented problems will come based on section formula, distance formula and midpoint formula. Hope This helps you a lot to connect the question in the exam to the correct topic. Most of the students, they confuse, they do not understand which formula should be used or which concept it is related to. If you are perfect in this mind mapping, when you see the question, first you will connect this question to the chapter, and then from chapter to which topic it is it distance formula or section formula or midpoint formula, nth term, sum of n terms. Similarly, basic proportionality theorem or similarity criterions is related to word problems, elimination method, substitution method, or graphical method, quadratic formula. Like this, chapter wise, you can know all the concepts and formula in the mind. When you see the question in the question paper, your mind quickly connects the question to the topic and you will get the correct solution. Hope it will help you. If you like it, subscribe the channel. Like this, many important concepts will be uploaded. When you watch it, definitely it will help you. Thank you.